Emotions sell. Emotions sell, and here's how to use them. We literally, if you're an actor in performing arts, we work with emotions because emotions are what audiences actually are. It's what sells the audiences. When our emotions are able to hopefully start with a spark and then expand, and the audience can witness that expansion, that's what's going to actually sell. It sells products, it sells movies, it sells everything. Every kind of thing you buy, it is connects emotion, and that's the reason why actors work so hard with emotion. So let's look at a couple of these. These are how to be able to develop your artistic craft to be able to activate different emotions. We have joy, sadness, anger, fear, disgust, surprise, trust, anticipation. So when we're looking to build emotions, understanding that emotion sells is going to be, it's the platform of which the actor is going to step upon. I'm just going to say the word actor, but this includes dancers, musicians, any kind of performing arts field, improvisation, even comedic improvisation. And when you're looking at the acting elements, you're looking at the whole element of how everything just unfolds based off of emotion. And once you understand this, then you can understand how to be able to work differently and effectively so that you know for certain that you're actually you're putting an effort forth with your emotion, and you know that your emotion's good. Now, I've seen over 8,000 acting classes. So I can tell you that there's been a struggle for a lot of people. I've seen very, very famous people and a lot. And I've seen a lot of different techniques of how people work to be able to activate emotion. And I've been around various different things. So it's interesting when we craft our emotion. Now we have something that the audience has to watch. So yes, emotions sell, but the reason why emotions sell is because we're actually building interest. I like to call that the acting vacuum. When we look at an acting scene or we look at a music video, we want to be able to build up the crescentia, or you want to crescend the scene. You want to do the same thing in a music video. You want to build it up. You want to start off with an impact, and then you want to start building the emotion. So one emotion works with the other emotion, and it builds upon each other, and it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds. And that's what we buy. We buy this because we're all connected emotionally with being human, and this is what we actually want to do. And in the acting classes specifically, the actors always wonder if their work is good. Is their work, did it work or did it not work? And when we break down and start working with emotions, it's not a question. At a certain point, when we're working consistently with being able to work with emotion, we are always going to be able to find a marketplace because we are working at a level where it's has an expansion. Now, if you look at all sorts of different examples of this, if you think of it, please write those in the comments. It's kind of interesting to see how people relate to different things. But the emotions will build. So we take like an emotion like anger, and then we contrast that with surprise, and we have that those are two examples, and then the audience has the interest emotionally to be able to see how those two elements well, like they should really build out, or they should build up, because you take a person that has some anger and you have a person that has surprise, or you even have another person that has surprise. You deal with these with the different elements of emotion. The emotion is going to be able to merge with each other, and then the overall circumstance grows, and the audience is looking at that growth. When we're able to develop ourselves as artists and actors so that our abilities grow like that, then we know for certain that there's no question of whether our work is good or not. We know for sure that our work is hitting something, and there's something that's actually building in it. And then when it comes down to editing one acting scene versus another acting scene, and this could also be for music video, you basically then look and you say, well, which one do you like better? Or see if the editor can merge both. And often, if you can figure out the perspective of it, the editor can merge both takes, which will actually be really creative. See, when we know that emotion sells, and we know that The emotion is what's going to be able to hold the emotional, I call it emotional weight. We have an emotional weight of a product, we have an emotional weight of ourselves as actors, we have emotional weight of the integrity of the actor. When we work deep enough, we're working beyond the feeling level and we're going to the emotion level, which means that we don't have to actively watch our emotion because we've activated our emotion already. So once we activate our emotion, then we jump into the situation of the acting scene and or the acting circumstance, and then we literally are in a situation where we can trust that we don't have to reactivate our emotion. We've just done it. We've already activated our emotion, and just by the effort of receiving, you're going to be able to expand and create that emotion vacuum, the acting scene vacuum. I like to call it vacuum because it actually will grow, and that's when that's the real gold of acting and performing. So remember this: emotion sells. I'm just going to read a couple more of these emotions: relief, despair, nostalgia, gratitude, loneliness, resentment, insecurity, eagerness, awe. So if we take say loneliness, and then we put that with um, uh, let's look at this awe. We could build something from that. Now we have two components emotionally that we can actually build a project from. We want to be able to build out our projects and we want to build out our acting scenes by being able to identify the contrast. That's why emotion will sell, because we're basically building out the interest of this. We're looking at love, guilt, shame, envy, pride, regret, hope, frustration. So now, if you're in the acting scene, you want to be able to have an overall emotional state for your acting scene. What is the overall emotional state? Then go in and find and stir up that emotion, get that emotion really active. It's great that I really do appreciate emotional preparation and the techniques of Meisner and the whole element. And I've seen so many, I mean, literally 8,000 classes of Meisner. And the thing is that you're looking at this in a way where you are sometimes forgetting. The students are often forgetting that they need to activate the emotion. The most important thing isn't knowing the storylines of an emotion. You want to be able to activate that personally. So you get that personal activation going for you. And then you have emotion that you're actually selling. You don't have to do anything. You do nothing except for receive the other actor once you've got that active. And this transposes your everything inside of you. Your personality comes out. Everything will come out, but it will be through the interaction with the other actor that ties and has the ebb and flow. And now you have something that has interest. It holds emotional weight. It has you know how there's the old expression. It says you can cut the emotion in the room with a knife, because just like butter, that's not very good sometimes to have those experiences in life, but in acting, that's actually means that you have emotional weight. You've got the emotional weight to be able to do this. Now, look, I've just send comments with different things if you feel like it, and I think there's a lot of topics on this that are very interesting. That you've got to be able to figure out ways to be able to put emotions into your projects. And when you put emotions into your projects, then that opens up everything. And that has everything to do with emotion selling. The emotion sells every single time. It might be a little while before the market figures itself out to be able to find your project. But if you have emotion in it, it will almost always find an audience. And that's fantastic advice. Thanks very much.